What's going on, everyone? So, the Lakers took an L and lost for the last game of the year. It's really unfortunate. We all wanted to see the Lakers pull out this win, beat the best team in the league. But hey, look, Cleveland did what Cleveland does, right? Spread them out. We were competitive. We were in it. It did feel like a very winnable game. But unfortunately, the Lakers weren't able to get over the hump. They weren't able to get it done, right? Cleveland, they technically held them under their three-point percentage because they're by far the best three-point shooting team in the league by percentage. They're 41%. We held them to 39%, but they still made 18 threes. You're not winning very many games in that manner. You saw the struggles from multiple guys out there. But Austin Reeves was fantastic. LeBron James was fantastic. You had Anthony Davis, who he was rough. If you just looked at the box score, you're like, Anthony Davis was great. He had a great game. But if you actually watch the game, you're like, yeah, he got bodied by Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Shake Milton are two new acquisitions. They were out there. One just got their first game. You could see they kind of were like, they weren't as aggressive as you want them to be at times. They didn't know where they were supposed to be and where they were supposed to be slotted at times on the offensive side, defensive side, stuff like that. It's fine. They'll both be okay. Dorian Finney-Smith, I thought, was fantastic, right? I mean, he got 2 3-point attempts, so not really much of a sample size there, but he impacted the game tremendously. He was our best plus-minus for a reason. The best plus-minus because he was that impact. Every time the Cavs looked like they were about to run away with the game, JJ would put Dorian Finney-Smith in the game, and it completely changed. And a lot of it was because of Dorian Finney-Smith. It was like the same unit, and then Dorian Finney-Smith gets injected in place of like a Rui or a Reddish or something like that. And the Lakers immediately get back into it because of the ground that he covers, how good he was defensively and just chasing down balls and creating turnovers that he didn't really get credit for because he wasn't the one that came away with the ball, but he was the one that caused the turnover, right? Just disrupting passing lanes, closing out. He's going to be fantastic. But he's the prize, right? And I've talked about this. He's the guy that everyone's talking about. Everyone's going to continue to talk about. He's the guy that's looked at as the real needle mover. Look, we're still not a contender, but it's a huge step in the right direction. He was the prize. But you know who else was? Shake Milton. And I talked about after we got the trade done. Talked about it here. I talked about it on As It Stands Lakers. And I said, Shake Milton is probably going to be the sneaky signing that no one really thinks about and is going to have a big impact for this team. Not in like the 15, 20 point a game way where he's just, he's giving you a near triple double off the bench or anything nothing crazy like that. But in the sense of like a guy that can get after it defensively, hustle, do the dirty work, and knock down 2 or 3 threes a game, right? I said if he could be in that like 6 to 10 range off the bench, initiate the offense, play some defense, find the occasional cutter and man and open man and, just be able to initiate the offense, perfect. Lakers got exactly what they needed. And you saw that in this game, in his first game, right? 10 minutes, gave you 6 points, was 2 of 4 from 3, started 2 of 2. He missed his last 2 threes, but one of them was a bailout, and the other one was like that heat check 3 that was just, he hit nothing. But again, 10 minutes, he gave you 6 points, 2 rebounds, right? And what more could you ask for? I mean, Lakers bench total, he had as many points as the rest of the bench combined. He had 6 points. The rest of the bench had 6 points. Right? Like, again, I mean, the guy had 2 rebounds, 6 points, and 10 minutes of action. Right? Like, he's a guy that I really do think can have a positive impact on this team. Again, not in the sense of like he's going to be this star, but he's a guy that I think on the random night will get you 20. I mean, he had his last game with the Nets, he had 16 and 12, and then 2 games before that, he put up 20. He's a guy that can score in a hurry, score in bunches. Right? He's that vacuum scorer and shooter, right? 39% from 3-point range, 50% from the floor. And you saw it. I mean, he's 50% last night. Him as a guy that can come in, initiate the offense, use that insane wingspan that he has that you saw in that game, and just, I want to see him get after it better defensively. But I do think under J.J. Redick, once he gets acclimated, once he gets comfortable out there, I do think he will be better defensively. I mean, he was good. He just wasn't what we need him to be on the defensive end, right? We need him ideally to be our Gabe Vincent replacement. Guy that gets you, knock down 2 or 3 threes and play some hard-nosed defense. But he's also bigger than Gabe Vincent. He's 6'5" with a 7'1" wingspan. That's huge, right? So if he can kind of come in and fill that role for the Lakers and be that guy out there on the basketball court that can be that point of attack when he's in there. Again, you're not asking him to play 30, 40 minutes a game. You're looking for him to play, 15 to 20 on any given night. And can he give you, 3 threes and, maybe like a random bucket as like a cutter or slasher or something like that, play some defense. If he could be an 8-3-3 guy, that's perfect. Perfect. Not everyone has to be a superstar. Not everyone needs to be this big thing, right? When he's feeling it on a random night and he can go get you 20, then great, right? But for most nights, he's giving you, 8 to 12 and, a couple rebounds, couple assists, playing some defense. That's literally all we need from him. Again, he was the atom. Lakers turned Maxwell Lewis, who wasn't even in the rotation and probably wasn't going to be, if ever, to a guy that actually can be a real piece and actually be a part of the rotation and actually make an impact out there on the basketball court. And you saw it in his very first game. He knew exactly what his role was. Hit the 3 ball, right? Like, catch, shoot, knock it down, corner 3, and he was great with it, right? And that's where the Lakers usually generate most of their threes, is the corner 3. And he's really good in that corner. And so he's a guy that I was very... Obviously, again, Dorian Finney-Smith, he's the guy that gets the praise, and he was very impressive as well. But Shake Milton, man, is putting in that work. He was fantastic, in my opinion. I loved what we saw in that limited sample size. Obviously, again, we need to see more. We need to see it more consistently, right? We need to see him, continue to be aggressive. But I think that'll come. Once he gets comfortable, it's the first game back, first game in. I think he'll get comfortable. I think he'll figure some stuff out there on the basketball court. He'll know where he's supposed to be slotted on the offensive side and the defensive side, and guys will be more conscious to get him the basketball and get some more shots up and stuff for him, right? Like, it'll come, right? You just got to give it a handful of games or so, and I think you're going to be very impressed with Shake Milton, right? Again, he's a role guy. He's not going to... He'll have his good games, he'll have his bad games, but I think he's a real piece that can move the needle slightly for the Lakers. That can just be a real trusted rotation guy. He's 28 years old, he's cheap for the next 3 years, he's making $3 million a year. This guy is a guy that is very impactful. But this is what, and why I've even talked about, Rob Pelinka wants to evaluate, a couple games. If the right deal is there, he'll take it, he'll make the move, but he wants to evaluate a couple days. But this is what I talked about, right? Because if these two guys, in Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, if they can, if Shake Milton can essentially be your backup point guard, initiate the offense, play some defense, hit some shots, okay, well, now that's one less need you have. You still, in my opinion, need that point of attack, two-way guard or another wing, and then play Dorian Finney-Smith at the 2 and just go big. But now you don't need that other thing. You don't need to go and get, and delegate assets to go get another guard. It's like, okay, we could just bring in a Dennis Smith Jr. or something like that, and there you go, you're good. Again, Dorian Finney-Smith, right? See what he looks like at the 2. You saw him essentially playing everywhere, right? That's good. Because if he can slot in at the 2, then maybe you're not going and getting another, a Bruce Brown or something like that. Maybe you're looking at a Kyle Kuzma and trying to get some more size and length out there, right? It's just things like that I think are very important. But Shake Milton, did a video on Dorian Finney-Smith. I had to do a video on Shake Milton because I was very impressed with what we saw. But how do you feel? What are your thoughts? How do you think? As always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Were you impressed with Shake Milton? Did you like what you saw? Obviously, Dorian Finney-Smith as well. But wanted to kind of keep this about Shake Milton. I did a whole video on Dorian Finney-Smith, so check out that video after this one. But however you feel, whatever your thoughts are on Shake Milton, do you think he can actually be a piece? Do you think, like, nah, he'll probably be out of the rotation? How do you feel? Whether it's good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.